So on this step, I've used the quick selection tool to do a rough selection of my pig, and now I am in the select and mask mode, which is an option that I chose from the options bar up here. The first thing I want to show you up here is the view mode. Okay, so if you enter into your selected mask and you're freaking out because it doesn't look like mine, don't worry. There's different options for how it can look. You can look at your selection on a transparent background. You can look at it with the marching ants, which you could see in the in the other version of it. I don't know why you would want to do that. You can put it against any color overlay you want. You can put it against black. You can put it against white. You can make it a mask. Or if I had any other layers in it, which I don't, you could see it as it would appear if I had already moved it over to that other file. So what you want to do is, view it on whatever background works the best for visibility for you. And I'm probably just going to flip back and forth between the white and the black background, because what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure that I get as much of the pig as I can without picking up any of the background, or as little of the background as possible, because it's that background or those roughly selected edges that are the giveaway that you've done a Photoshop job. And that's not what we want. So we start with the tools over here. This is just that same quick selection tool, and we've already used it. So I'm going to go to this next one, which is the Refine Edge tool. And this is the one that allows us to pick out the selection, so that if it has hair or fur or anything on that like that along the edge, you can get that very accurately selected. What you need to do is you need to always put a check in the Smart Radius box, and I found on mine that the default of 10 pixels worked pretty well for me. So it's a brush that you can drag along the edge, and it may take just a second. It's a little bit of a memory hog. And so what it's doing is it's trying to determine, where is the background and where are the hairs. And I know it's looking a little weird right now. I'm actually going to have to zoom in a little bit so I can see better what I'm doing here. If I don't like the way this looks, I need to either change where I've got my brush. I seem to be doing a little bit better if I keep my brush more inside the pig and less of it on the outside of the pig. I could also change my brush size, or I could change my radius. I've experimented with the radius on this particular one. I think I like it best at about 10 pixels, but I will try a different setting right here to see what kind of result I get. Not really crazy about that. Let me take it up a little bit. You can kind of just drag it back and forth, and you can see the background change, like how much of the background is it going to, allow you to see, and how much of it is it not going to allow you to see. And so there's kind of some fine tuning that you have to do right there. And also you could set your brush a little bit smaller. And so, this is the area here where I'm, having a little bit of an issue trying to, get some of this background out of there. Okay, I've also got this tool right here, which is just a regular brush that would erase, kind of like it'll either paint in background or it'll erase out the background depending on whether you've got the plus sign or the minus sign. So if I screwed up, I could come along and paint the background back in and try again. Or if I had something that I, definitely wanted to get rid of, I could click the little brush with the minus sign and get rid of the background that way. Okay. So the best way to do this is to just kind of zoom in and go around the edges and do the best that you can. And it's never going to look 100% perfect against this white edge, but somehow it always winds up looking pretty good. I've got a couple of areas that it's pretty important to me that I get a good selection, like right in here. Another thing I noticed with this that I keep forgetting, so you might forget as well, every time I click off of the Refine Edge selection tool to use a different tool, I lose my Smart Radius setting, and I'm not sure if that's some preference that I can change or what. It seems like it should remember that. I mean, I've got remember settings clicked, so I'm going to have to look that up, or if anybody finds out what the big secret is there so that this would stay consistent every time I put down this tool and then pick it up again, let the rest of us know. Okay, so I think I'm going to go back to a larger brush. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit better effect if I keep more of the brush inside the pig and a little bit less of it on the outside of the pig. Let's see here. Yeah, it takes my computer a minute to decide what I'm doing. It's kind of a little bit of a memory hog here. Okay. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to get this perfect, of course, because this is a demo, and I don't want to waste a lot of time making you guys sit here and watch me do it. So I'm going to do a rough job and then get to the next step. I'll clean this up on my own time. Okay. But I want to show you a couple more tools that you can use. You also have the lasso tool again that you can use. Okay. If that helps you out. So it's just basically a combination of using all these tools and then also the settings off to the side. And so what you want to do is, okay, play around with your global refinements after you've got your edges about as good as you think you can get them. One of the, make sure decontaminate colors is selected. And for what we're doing in this exercise, make sure that you click new layer on this one just to make things easier for us. So you can, kind of try your slider bars here. I think on mine, contrast and shift edge are the things that are going to help me the most, as well as taking a moment to look at it on the black background. Okay, now clearly I have a lot more work cut out for me. This is not a good job, but I just don't want this video to run very long. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like I have a satisfactory selection here, and I'm going to click OK. And what it's going to do is it put my pig on another layer. So what that means now is he's kind of like an object. Yeah, my computer is super slow today. So this makes him, this is an entire layer that's moving around. And at this particular point in time, I don't have to have anything selected because I'm moving everything that's on the layer. And at this particular point, this layer acts sort of like um, an object in Illustrator, okay? So this time to get him over to the sky, I'm gonna do it a little differently from how I did it on the first, on the double exposure project. I'm going to go ahead and copy him to my clipboard. He's not all that huge. I'm going to go, oh, I have to select him to copy it. So I can actually drag a selection box around him by using, my marquee tool. Probably what I would do is I would just make a Command A for select all, and that just means I'm going to select everything on the board. And if you look really closely here, you can see the marching ants going around the outside of my picture. Okay, so that's going to select everything. If I want to deselect, memorize both of these, Command A and Command D. These are pretty important, but for now I just want to copy him, edit, copy, or your shortcut, which should be the same as it is in pretty much any computer program, Command C. I'm not sure what the equivalent for that would be in a PC. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to open up my Sky and either Command V or paste to get him in there. Okay, so now I've got my pig in the sky, and he's on a layer all by himself, and I can move him around. This is my move tool, and in the next video I'll have him cleaned up a little bit better, and we'll start moving him around and changing his size a little bit, and we'll put some wings on him.